one that will actually just kill me.
Hello, Gooners and Gamers, it's your boy Kentman, and I just wanted to sit down and have a nice little yap session about fan service games, as it's one of the favorite things I like talking about the most. And today I wanted to kind of draw attention to the big three of fan service games, being Bayonetta from Bayonetta, 2B from Nier Automata, and Eve from Stellar Blade. Now, of course, there's all kinds of fan service characters out there that deserves to be in that big three, from like Lara Croft, Tifa, Chun-Li, and many other characters that has come. But why I specifically focus on these three characters specifically is because these games were designed to have a sexy female character while also having a really fun gameplay loop with also a good story that just mashed everything together, that kind of pushed the genre a little bit mainstream, but also was controversial as they came out. But after over time, people actually end up liking them. And I just want to know what that next game will be. Now, of course, I would love to say that Simmer Kagura would be a conversation in that list. Unfortunately, as much as it pains me, not everybody knows what Simmer Kagura is anymore, unless you're in the core depths of Simmer Kagura or fan service games, or just part of my community that knows what Simmer Kagura is, that deserves to be in that conversation of innovation, of doing things outside of the realm that nobody is thinking about, that pushes the drama to being a good fan service game, but also just has good gameplay loops. But unfortunately, as again, Simmer Kagura is not really part of that conversation. It's always looked at as a Gooner game first and not a game for a second, you know. But with Bayonetta, Nier Automata, and Stellar Blade, they started out as characters where people saw them, they were super hot, over-sexualized, people say, and they were destroying women and all this kind of stuff that they would talk about when they first saw them. But as you played the game, it was actually a fun game. You know, Bayonetta is whimsical, she's charming, she's, you know, charismatic, she doesn't take crap for nobody, and she's always styling and profiling on everybody. When 2B came out, she was a badass from the start. She looked cool, she was awesome, she busts through a wall and then hits a nice good superhero landing, and then you just start fighting. The music is good and the whole atmosphere is great. The overarching story with her, trying to understand her purpose. But then of course you have Eve, who also is a higher being angel, who is a superior being, and then she comes back to the world and is covered with natibas, and she wants to save the world, but also is confused about, you know, the world and stuff. But also the gameplay is just a lot of fun to play, and I would like to know what the next innovation game would be to help bridge the gap to people to understand that fan service games can be sexy and fun to play at the same time. Now, we've had other potential notable games like Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, did great numbers, you know? I think it sold like 1 million copies when it first came out, one of the best selling games from China, and it did really great. I mean, some people had some issues with it, but I don't know if the game was specifically made to be like have a Gooner sexy character but had a Souls-like element to it. But I haven't played it yet, and I know I'm not that big into like Souls only games, but I know it has like an action RPG focus. But the character itself is pretty hot, she's pretty cool, and one of these days I'm gonna have to actually play it to actually understand the true lore and world of the game. Because, you know, I was the same way when it came to Stellar Blade, where I wasn't really big into Souls-like games, but I really love Shift Up, and I love the ideas that they put into their games, and the game was fun. When I played the demo, I was enjoying it. It was tough. It was really tough, and I'm glad I did push myself to get better at Stellar Blade, because I end up loving that game so much. I love the characters, from Raven to Eve to Lily to Adam to Katie, just the NPCs, the world, the atmosphere of the whole game was just great. And Shift Up did a great job of adding stuff to the games, from the Nier Automata stuff to the Nike stuff, and it just was a great game. I know I sing high praise of Stellar Blade all the time. This is not what this video is about. But the point is, I'm glad that I pushed myself to get better at the game, because I end up loving the game because it was just that fun to play. And maybe I could do the same thing with Wu Chang Fallen Feathers as well if I end up playing the game, and maybe I might get better at it eventually. I mean, I tried with Neo 3, but that didn't work out. But my point is what is the next game that's really going to push the fan service genre to get people to understand that it's okay to have a sexy character while also playing a game that's actually fun to play? Because it also creates motivation for people to want to play the game, from seeing someone that's super sexy, that's badass. You know, you got Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. I feel like Bayonetta didn't really become more prominent until the second game. Like, the first game was great. It had some very iconic moments, but I feel like Bayonetta 2 is where Bayonetta really got her charm, her swag, her suave, and she was like more badass than before. Like, the opening cutscene for Bayonetta 2 will still want to be one of my favorites. Just so ingrained into my core of how a character should be, you know, when it comes to a female character that is confident about her abilities, her sex appeal, and uses it in a battle. I like that a lot of these games utilizes fan service in a way to innovate the genre that they are in. Now, one of the games that I think that could bridge the gap between fan service and innovation games that's really fun to play in the future is Times of Annihilation. That game looks insane, looks crazy, and the protagonist is pretty hot. And I think this game is really going to set the bar for what we can expect for the future of fan service games, of having a sexy female protagonist. Now, we don't know how crazy they're going to go with it when it comes to this genre, but we do know the scale of the boss fights, the travel, the combat is how it's going to be, and it's supposed to come out this year. Hopefully it comes out this year, but there's no set release date just yet. So again, I'm just looking for the future, because I feel like right now, as the fan service community, we do need another like heavy hitter that is going to really like let people understand that, you know, this genre has a lot of great value to it. I don't know what that next game will be. Again, I hope it's Tides of Annihilation, but it could be a whole nother new game that puts that character up into the Mount Rushmore of other characters. Of course, again, Stellar Blade 2 is going to be coming out too, and I'm sure that game is going to be doing even extra new stuff for Stellar Blade. But I feel like even though the sequel will be great, it won't have the same impact as Stellar Blade did, you know, because it was a new game, it was a whole new world. We were waiting for it for a long time when it was Project Eve, and then we saw how at first it looked like it was going to just be another Souls-like. People harped on it for being just a sexy game, but when it came out, it was completely different. It was actually a fun game to play. I would even say that Stellar Blade is responsible for reviving hack and slash character driven RPGs, which is amazing. We've had so many games come back that's in the hack and slash character action games recently, from Ninja Gaiden, Lost Soul Aside, Dynasty Wars Origins, and all the indie games that has took inspiration from Stellar Blade, that had more confidence to put in a more sexier character while also making a great game. Games that I'm still waiting to hear announcements for, like Showa America, whenever that decides to get an announcement trailer for, whenever they decide to say there's going to be a game that's coming out soon. Of course, other characters that could potentially be in the Mount Rushmore of fan service characters could be, you know, Samus. I feel like who kind of started the trend of fan service games in itself. Of course, you know, you have Tifa, but Tifa was, even though she's a hot fucking character that I love a lot, who's my favorite female video game character of all time, I feel like because she's ingrained into Final Fantasy that isn't initially made to be a fan service too much, it's kind of hard to put her in that conversation, even though Tifa is wildly loved and has so much great sex appeal to her, but also is badass to a T. I just don't think she fits in that conversation all the time. Also, you know, you could have Lara Croft in there as well, who kind of was another one that kind of started the trend of a sexy fucking character, but also has a great gameplay and a good game in general, and that's just fun to play. However, Tomb Raider has gone through the rocks a little bit, but it is trying to come back, and we'll see how the new remake of the first game comes out and how that turns out to be. If that helps bring Lara Croft back into the forefront, maybe. It's hard to say, but I would like to know what you guys think on who would be the next character that would be in the same ranking of Bayonetta, 2B, and Eve, in that same conversation, would help innovate fan service games to a new heights. Now, I don't want the games to go mainstream, because I feel like fan service games has gone mainstream enough, and that's why we're in the situation we are now with a lot of censorship. But I do want it to help bridge a conversation to help more people understand that, you know, a character can be sexy and also be a great game. Now, Resident Evil 9, as innovative as it was, I think is a good conversation for a sexy character being Leon Kennedy. Now, Grace wasn't also not meant to be a sexy character. Not every character needs to be sexy, but she was great in her own way. But the game was so innovative of mixing two styles of gameplay into one that was just so fun to play, even for a person that doesn't really like horror games at all. But I enjoy what they did with the game, and I end up beating the whole game on stream. You've seen it. But the thing about Resident Evil 9, it doesn't really count as a fan service game first, and then second, maybe it is, because when you have Leon Kennedy, I mean, that conversation is kind of there. But I don't know, you know, maybe you might have a different take on that, but that's why we're here having a good yap session. This is a discussion between me and you. But either way, I would like to know what you guys think in the comments down below, what you guys think would be the next game that could have a conversation on innovation for fan service games that is built from the ground up to be fan service, with a sexy character that gives you motivations to play the game and have a good time, to find that good fun loop in the game, while also creating a atmosphere that inspires other fan service games to keep trying and keep getting that motivation to keep making new games. We definitely need that next big game that's really going to push the genre more, to help us fight these censorship battles that we win, sometimes we lose, we win, sometimes we lose, and it's this overarching cycle that I just want to just enjoy games that are just sexy again. Without any hassle, you know? I don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. A nice little yap session, nothing too crazy, but I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments down below. So with that being said, remember that fan service is the best kind of service, and be a fan of that like button, and I will see you in the next video. I'm trying to hit 20K by the end of the year, and with your help and support, I could definitely do that. So I'll see you guys in the next video next time. Bye-me!